JL Rock, Women of Action Figure channel. And here we have a bunch of videos that I pulled over from our other channel, but we're going to be repackaging them so we can show off these awesome action figures that I picked up early on. And then after that, we're going to be bringing brand new videos that I have. So we need your help. We need the likes, we need the subs, you need to hit that notification button because, I mean, we have a lot of videos coming up. So without further ado, let's check them out. I don't know this figure. All I know is when I walked into my local thrift store, I saw this sitting there. And again, this was in the middle of the afternoon. So one of the things I always tell people that if they ever feel discouraged because they figure everyone, scopes out thrift stores first thing in the morning or camping out there in the morning, that's probably true, but you can still find good stuff. And maybe it's also because this isn't well known. I think I did end up looking it up on eBay, and I think even sealed like this, it was like 15 bucks. So nothing crazy, probably something that most resellers wouldn't look at. And I don't know if this is a popular line that, people look for, let me know. But just judging by, what I saw on Facebook and even just looking up information on this, I assume it's not super popular. But all I know is it looks cool. And the only thing that scares me is I look at some of these joints and I know how old this is, so I always worry that, like, when I get opening and playing with it, something's gonna go wrong. But just looking at all the accessories, that's just cool. And the fact that her name is Chasity, it's just like, and the whip, you kind of get that theme going. So let's look at the back here. And okay, so now you get like what we're probably working with. So Dark Alliance. Okay, so let me see. So, you can't actually see that. Let me scroll that up so you can see. So it says, what do you get when the Lords of Comic Mayhem join forces with the inmates of Toy Insanity? You get Dark Alliance. Feast your eyes on this teenage vampire assassin Chasity, the vampire crime lord Jade, the predatory vampire goddess of judgment Purgatory. Oh my god. Like Tory. And pray you survive the Lord of Lies, Lucifer. Okay, so I guess that's who we have here. So we got, I'm assuming that's Lucifer. I guess that's Jade. Jade color that matches. So Chastity, Jade, Lucifer, Purgatory. I guess that's what it is. So you can see here. So it's comic books, Diamond Select Toys. Tells you inmates and all that. Series 2 coming through. So that looks pretty cool. And what was the year that so 2001. So this is definitely retro because it's 2024 when you're watching this. Well, maybe not when you're watching this, but when I recorded this. So that's pretty old. And that's pretty sweet. But I'm gonna be opening up this bad boy. Oh man, I was just looking at that tape here. Like, I thought it was going to be an easy rip because it looked like it was already coming off. But, no, it actually took a bit. Now, I wonder... It's kind of weird the way how this was put on. It almost looked like it was resealed, but... I don't know. Either way, I don't think so. All the ties here look like it's in there. And, the yellowing and all that. But... That's kind of cool that when you take it out, it's still kind of sticking out like that. And I like how you still have this here. It's like this little sign. I just like the way it looks. So I can still use that. Put that somewhere. So let's get these accessories out first. And there's a lot of them. Got some swords here. And it's like, and as I said, I'm still new to like collecting and reviewing and all that, but I do know that you really didn't see like much in the way of alternate hands back in the day, at least not that I remember. And I think these are like the kunai, I think. Maybe it's just regular throwing knives, I don't know. But the fact that you have another hand, and I'll show all the weapons once I get them out here, but it's a decent amount. And I don't know, that's another thing that I like about these old ones is like so many have accessories. Like nowadays, you have to get like a lot of times a really expensive special version in order to get a lot of accessories. Beyond that, they don't like to give you that much. And it's like a lot of these older ones, they had a lot of stuff. And I don't know if maybe part of that was to make up for lack of articulation or other things that they weren't able to do at the time. But I like it. I mean, look at all these little pieces I'm pulling out of here. And then especially here, this whip. I mean, come on. I mean, this is it, man. Like, or is this a bolo? I guess it's a bolo, right? I'm not sure. I guess it could be used. Now that I'm looking at it, it looks like it's like the bolo that you throw at people to capture them. So maybe that's what that is. But I kind of think that you could beat somebody down with that as well. A little bit of both here. Was that the only one? Yes, it was. All right. I mean, she's waving high. But before we get to her, let's look at these accessories. So we got the sword. So, I mean, you know, you get the little bending, which is kind of, you know, And, I mean, I don't know if this is just the issue with the paint or is it because of how old it is. I'm not sure, but that's one sword. And then you have the other sword. I don't know if that maybe is supposed to be part of the design to have it look like that. I'm guessing no. But maybe. Not bad. And I mean, as far as the knives, little throwing knives, I mean, there's nothing special. They're all the same, basically. So it's, what? Is it 8? Because it kind of threw me off that it was, no, it's 7. It's kind of weird. It was an odd number like that. At first I thought I dropped one. And then you have the belt. And that's what's cool because I guess it makes sense now to have 7 because there's 7 holes here. And I'm assuming it's like this, right? Because other way, that wouldn't make sense. So I guess you put each one in there. So that's sweet. And then, you know, the belt itself, it's like rubber. So, I mean, that's cool. And then you have the extra hand, which again, cool. Like a grab hand. And then, yeah, I'm guessing this is bolo. Because, I mean, if it was a whip, it would be more like, it'd be something more, I mean, I guess you could grab it from here. But I get the feeling that this is the bolo where you throw it and it wraps around someone's leg and you capture them. Because, I mean, it says that she's a hunter, so it makes sense. So let's look at the figure itself. And here I'm going to be careful because, I mean, honestly, so I've already had like two different ones break on me. Just because of like when I feel it, it feels like that harder plastic. So like when I move it around, like especially here at the joints, like if you look at that, like to me it feels like at any moment like it can break. Like the movement doesn't feel bad, but I don't even know how to really explain it correctly. It almost feels more like some of those old dolls where like you worry about moving it than like an action figure. Like this almost seems like the kind of action figure that I guess you would say like you would do almost stop animation where it's like you move it a little bit and then that's it. Like you're not there like doing, like this doesn't seem like something you play with. Like this looks like something you specifically, you get maybe a few poses you like and you leave them, you know, propped up however you want it. But you know, it is interesting, like I said, the articulation, even down here to the boots. I mean, the design and all that is pretty cool. I mean, like you can see the paint is okay. You know, it's not great, but it's okay. But you see how they do the articulation here. So how it bends at the different levels. When you get to the waist, like the hip, it's kind of more like a little turn in and out. That's really it. And I've seen others like this in 90, early 2000s. You know, there's nothing with the waist or anything, nothing with the back. And like she has like this arch Like, look at that going on. Like, you can't undo that arch. So it's like you kind of like pose around it, I guess. You see here on the arms, that's how you can move it. And of course, I already showed you at the elbow. And then you have the hand here that you can turn around. You have to see, I think it's, yeah, okay. So, and I've seen some like this before where, so it's just one hand that you can move because the other one doesn't even have that turn. So you can see like this hand is locked into like kind of a fisting punch thing. And the other one is different, like kind of like open. And I guess, I mean, because like that, it's not really for the weapon. I guess you could kind of like hang something off of it, but that's not for that. Now let's see. See, this is the dangerous part because I have no idea if like I'm doing the removal right. Like when I look at it, it looks like it just should rotate out, but I don't know. Oh my god, that's just like the way it feels like I'm breaking it. Oh my god, that scared me. Okay, so we made it. I was gonna do it. If it broke, I would have left it. I wasn't gonna edit that. But I mean, really, like pulling that out, that did not feel like, I mean, I've had enough figures now where you remove the hand and yeah, you pull on it, but when you're pulling on it on the other ones, it doesn't feel like you're messing it up. This one, I swear, I thought like it was just gonna break. So let's see now putting one in. Okay, so that was a little bit better. Still didn't feel great, but it was a little bit better. And then I guess here, see the hands, see these aren't really malleable. So it's like you can fit something in, but you have to really give it that squeeze and pinch to get that in. But before we put her on the stand, just want to show you overall. So I mean, obviously the design and the dress, I mean look at that. I mean, you know what they're going for here. Head movement, again, it's like you got some movement, even a little bit up and down, but again, this feels like, it just feels like it could break, and it's like I just want to be easy with it. But you know, you kind of get locked, even though there's articulation, you kind of feel like you're locked into specific poses. But I also assume that, you know, people who are better at posing than me will be able to maneuver around the way that you can like turn the hips, bend the knees, bend around like the ankle area to get a pose that you like. So what I'm going to do now is put the belt on and put her on the turntable. All right, so here she is on the turntable holding some of the weapons. And as you can see with the belt, the kunai or the knives, I assume if she hunts vampires, then those are just stakes, I guess. You know, this all 7 fit in there. And just in case you're wondering, let me get in the zoom. There is like a little button, a little hole where you can clasp the belt around her waist. But I have to say, it's a tight fit. I mean, I wouldn't call it a chastity belt, but it's really tight as far as getting that to squeeze in. I don't know if you can see, but it actually is all, like you have to actually pull it around. And maybe I could have went higher on the waist, but to me, that wouldn't look right. Like, it looks better the way it is, kind of like low. That's how I would expect it. Let me know if I'm wrong. Like, people who pose and do this much better than I, let me know if it would look better being a little bit higher up, because it would definitely fit better. But to me, being lower like that actually looks better. So as I said, because the other hand doesn't move or anything like that, you're kind of limited in as far as what you can do with the weapons, because that hand is kind of stuck in that mode. Like, you can't do anything with that, and you can't switch that hand out. So the only hand that you can hold things in is that one. And I mean, you have 2 weapons, and there's nowhere else that you can store the other weapon or the bolo. I was thinking that you could probably squeeze it and maybe hanging down from the back end of the belt as well, but you know, it's like, I don't know. But either way, it's not bad. And as I said, this is from 2001, so you're kind of lucky with the articulation and stuff that you get. As far as the feet with the posing, I mean, again, I'm not saying that this is where you're stuck at, because I am not great at posing. I'm still working on it. But you can see that because of the way you stand. I mean, look at those boots. I mean, they're sweet looking boots, but between that, the way the hips are and all that, you have to kind of have that wide stance, especially to put on a turntable. And there's no holes or anything on the bottom of the feet to put into a stand. So the only way you could do a stand with this figure is if you had one that grips it around the waist or something like that. So I mean, again, these are just little things that make it a little bit more difficult to get exactly the way you want. But as I said, the thing about this is I got this for $2.49 because that's what it was marked for, and that gives me 5 woots. Woo, 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 baby, because that's a good bargain. I don't care how much articulation or little problems I have. To get an inbox figure like this with all these accessories that looks cool and is yet another member of my Women of Action figure line, I am totally happy. And that's why I say don't sleep on thrift stores, even if you have to go after work or something, because that's what I did. I went after work after 6 o'clock, and I was still able to find this bad girl for $2.49 just sitting there, and nobody was grabbing it, probably because they had no idea who that was. And I'm going to find a way to incorporate this into it, just because I just think that's just sweet. That's just awesome. So thanks for geeking out with me for another action figure retro edition review, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks so much for watching, and we really need your help to grow this channel. We want to spread these awesome Women of Action figures all around YouTube, and you know how the algorithm is. So you gotta do the things that everybody asks for, but we really need it, and we need to have those subs, we need to have those likes, and hit that notification button, because that's the only thing that lets YouTube know that this content is worth it. But I do either way appreciate you for watching, and also those comments are good too. And what I want to ask is that if you know of a woman action figure, a female action figure that I should be looking at, whether I can find it cheap or otherwise, cheaper the better, because I'm still the % off collector. Let me know in the comments, and I will try my best to add that to the collection and add another video. But until next time, thanks a lot.